2025, and you are viewing and listening to Issues and Answers with Norman A. Carter Jr. on the WCEG Digital Media Enterprise Network. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. I sincerely hope that in whatever part of the world you are, I hope you are having the best day possible. Now, many of you know how to watch a live broadcast of issues and or issues and answers. Just like you to share these steps with others. And for those of you who may be watching on YouTube and want to watch us live at some time, here is how you can accomplish that. Just log on to WCEGTalkRadio.com on your computer or your mobile device. Click the red icon that says live. Number two, watch us live on your smart TV. You may access the WCEG channel on Roku, YouTube, Fanbase, Blue Sky, Twitch, and so many other platforms. You can watch us live on Facebook and LinkedIn and other social media platforms. If you missed the live broadcast, you may always view us on YouTube at any time after the airing of our live broadcast. If you have Alexa, just say, excuse me, Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. And Alexa will kindly respond to you properly. You can download our free WCEG mobile app, and you can listen to us on any of our 12 podcast distribution platforms. We are out there for you. Now, before we begin this installment of Issues and Answers with your host, Norman A. Carter Jr., please understand that the topics and opinions are mine and my guest. Neither reflect the opinions of the staff and management of WCEG Digital Media Network. Now, before I introduce my special guest for today, I would like to acknowledge that today is the birthday of Thomas Garvey. Most of you don't know him. Tom was a former Philadelphia police officer and past president of Lodge 5 of the Fraternal Order of Police. Many years ago, when racial discrimination reigned supreme in the Philadelphia Police Department, Tom did a lot behind closed doors and out of the spotlight for many African American police officers. I never met Tom personally during my police career, but we became Facebook friends about 4 years ago. Tom was an insightful and practical man. He seldom sought the spotlight. Perhaps that is why, when he passed away last year, there was little acknowledgement of his passing from the organization that he led for several years. Shakespeare once said, "The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones." Perhaps that is why there is so little mention of him when he passed. Tom told me that his daughter, who lives in Oregon, is a frequent listener to WCEG Talk Radio. I want her to know that Tom Garvey was an impactful man who touched the lives of many in a very, very good way. When I was a youngster, this was proudly known as Columbus Day, honoring Italian explorer Cristobal Colombo, but for his discovery of America in 1492. But after the protests of critical thinkers and scholars, the name of this day was reluctantly changed to Indigenous Peoples Day. Mr. Colombo did not discover America. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people were already here in South America. Some of those people were kidnapped and taken back to be enslaved and objectified in Spain and Italy. Because of his error in judgment and geography, he mistakenly called the people of this land Indians because he thought he was in India. That mistake has remained with us to this day. Understand that many times ignorance takes millennia to undo. So when we say Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, understand of whom we speak. They suffered long before African slaves were brought to this country. The Wounded Knee Massacre, the Trail of Tears, Carlisle Re-Education Concentration Camp. Think about that when you look at the state of government leadership in this country today. Let's move on. Today's guest is the Honorable former mayor of the city of South Fulton, Georgia, William Bill Edwards. The Honorable William Bill Edwards is running for South Fulton mayor, the city of South Fulton mayor. He is the former and first South Fulton mayor and served from 2014 to 2020. Before that, he served over 14 years as Fulton County Commissioner representing unincorporated South Fulton. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Morehouse College and a law degree from Atlanta Law School. He is a member of Cascade United Methodist Church. He has 3 adult children and is a grandfather of 8. I will also add that the Honorable Mayor has his own program on this network entitled Wisdom Wednesdays. And based on his expertise, I think the program is appropriately named. Mr. Mayor, I would have given your entire bio or CV, but it would take me another 15 minutes for the viewers and listeners to complete the reading of your resume and accomplishments. I just want to condense it to say that you are a learned civil servant who has an extensive record of community commitment and accomplishment. Welcome to Issues and Answers.
Well, thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to be here with you and WCEG for this conversation we're going to have today, hopefully on pertinent issues that pertain to the future of our city and the future of our people. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. It is indeed my pleasure to have you here, sir. I feel honored. As you may know, I'm an elected official in my community. And it is refreshing that elected officials in this state's municipalities are nonpartisan. Does that make life easier for you?
The important thing you have to realize is not whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. The question to be asked, Norman, are you serving? Service means everything. People vote on guys like you and myself so that we can serve the entire community in which voted us. You always say if you want to be the greatest person you can be, just serve. You want to be a great lawyer, just serve. You want to be a great doctor, just serve. And that always is in the back of my mind and the back of my thoughts as to how I feel about things. Government is about serving and nothing else. And I believe that the bottom of my heart. So all that other stuff makes no difference if you're not serving.
I guess in coupling with that, after 14 years as the Fulton County Commissioner and 6 years as mayor, you have decided to return for another term as mayor. What prompted your decision?
Well, Norman, is an old saying that says, the seeds that you plant is the harvest that you sow. And we're feeling the effects of that now. A guy once told me who didn't vote for me the last time, and he said, yes, he told me, he said, Bill, I didn't vote for you. And I said, why not? He said, because we needed a change. Well, my response to him was simply, how did that work out for you? now we're in a position now where we're going to need someone with experience, know-how, who's been learning in this area to dig us out of this trench that we find ourselves in. And I searched around and thought about it, and I couldn't find nobody but me. So
all right.
I love this community so much. And I was his first inaugural mayor. I want to see it succeed, Norman. And so, sometimes, when you're in a fight, you got to throw yourself in to achieve the
Yeah,
thing you want.
yeah. I clearly remember your quote retirement end quote event where you were given so many accolades, and I remember standing there thinking, why is he leaving?
Yeah,
Because there was, believe me, there were some sad faces. I mean, they were happy for you on one extent, but there were some sad faces thinking about facing a future without you. It's something like you raised a family, and now you walk away from.
yeah. Well, I could have. I'm not running to be mayor. I've
Mhm.
already been mayor, or I'm not trying to be commissioner. I'm not trying to hold any kind of title. I've already done that. What I want to do is I want to see this community back to where it used to be, thriving and moving forward. And the best way to do that is to get people involved. Our people have to be more involved with our communities. We can't let you can't let elected officials drive our thoughts and drive our future. We have to bring the community in to be our assistants and deciding where we're going to go from day to day. That's one thing that I really, really want to do. Uh, I'm not here to label anybody, to criticize anybody. Whatever happened to this city has happened. It's in my mind, it's over. Then it's a matter of rebuilding the city, rebuilding our respectability, rebuilding how people foresee us, bringing our community in to be a part of everything that we do. And I think if we do those things, we can move forward to achieve a better goal.
You just remind me of something I think I saw today, looking up South Fulton, and there was I think what we call that an organizational chart. And at the top of that chart, I found it unusual that it had citizens of South Fulton, um, which I think is a nice touch. I've never seen that before, but it goes in accordance with what you just said.
Mhm. Well,
Um, Go ahead.
well, we do a lot of pretty charts and we talk about a
Mhm.
lot of structural things, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not following it.
Right.
I mean, we got rules and regulations. We got codes of conduct. Uh, we got charters for all the cities. But if you're not following it creates chaos. Uh, and that chaos leads you down the valley of every Saturday, every weekend you're on TV, you're arguing with everybody, people being put in jail, and all these kinds of things. And those are the kinds of things that we got to get away from. South Fulton has the potential to be one of the greatest cities around. I don't, I have not bought into this whole adage of, a lot of people say, we're the blackest city in America. Well, that's okay. I'm all right with that, but I just want to be the best city in America, and regardless. And so we have to really go back, and we don't want to exclude anybody because we want to build a good, wholesome city that welcomes everybody. But we have that potential, and I'm trying to get back in the seat to push us forward to the goal we need to be.
And I, you know, I attend a lot of elected official, a lot of conferences, particularly the annual one in Savannah, and
Yeah,
it's somewhat uh, strange that whenever the city of South Fulton comes up in passing conversation, whatever, people have sort of a grimace on their face.
sure.
Uh, uh, I remember, and I may have talked about this later, that South Fulton was looked upon as being um, a jewel in metropolitan Atlanta, and that's not an exaggeration. And I know you. I just want to inform our viewers and listeners that South Fulton is pretty much the size of Atlanta.
That's a good point. In land area, you're right. In land
Right,
area, about the size of Atlanta, we don't have the people Atlanta has, but
right.
when it comes to land mass, we're right there. But you know, no matter all these things that are perceived as good things, uh, if not, it doesn't work for us unless we make them good things.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, we can talk about how great we are, but what are we doing to make us great? They've done some good things, they've done some bad things. But I think that one of the things that we have to understand is this city is governed by what is called uh, a from the state of Georgia. We have laws by which to govern ourselves. It's called a charter.
Mhm.
That charter speaks specifically about what your job is, how you're supposed to do it. Uh, you can't interfere with certain things, but we find ourselves in the midst of violations of that law, violations of that charter, and we got to get back on the groundwork. I'm running on four things. In 2017, we became a city. We were elected, and once we were elected, the community gave us a commitment, said that we will give you the resources by which to run this city. That was the deal. That was the deal. We do our part, you do your part, that's our deal. No, we have not sealed that deal yet. For whatever reason, on whatever side, we have not sealed that deal yet. So how do we do it? So I'm running on four different principles. Sustainability. You know, Norman, it's easy to build something, but if you can't keep it up, it doesn't make any sense, does it? You can build something today, right, and because of the deterioration of materials or whatever the case may be, it would not be the same building you built yesterday. So you have to provide not only for what's happening today in terms of structure, but you have to provide the fact that that structure will hold up regardless. Right. All right. So that's that part of what I believe in. The other thing, Norman, is economic development. Everybody talks about, well, we need more grocery stores, we need more hotels, we need more. Here's what you need. People come into your community for two reasons. One is they want to be safe, and believe it or not, Norman, they want to make sure that their children can be educated. When you have those two things in line, trust me, more people will come, more businesses will come, and you cannot present a bad picture of yourself and expect business people all over this country to want to do business with you. All right? Economic development. It takes you forever to get a permit out of the economic development office or the permitting office.
Yep.
Those are things that we do. And then, when you think about all of this, accountability comes up. And basically, Norman, accountability is really trust when it boils down. Mm-hmm. We had an issue up where they wanted to take the cap off of the millage rate. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yes.
And they wanted to build this police station, police headquarters for multi-million dollars. And they said, the bank said, yeah, we could do it if you take the cap off the millage rate. What I found that to be very strange from the get-go. Well, the community here, because of everything that's happened with our council and our government, there was no trust. Had they presented themselves in a better manner over the years, they may have said, okay, we'll take it off. We're not the only city that's done that. They had a good interest rate, and they had a good plan, but nobody trusted them. All right, because of accountability. You have not lived up to the accountability that we expect. And last is leadership. I'm sorry, listening, not leadership. Listening.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest point of all, Norman, is the listening part. See, we elected the service, right? We're not elected to serve us. We're elected to service. And a lot of times we start serving us. We start making decisions about things for our own good or for our own people. We have not talked to our constituency about it. That is a bad thing to do. I believe a learned community is the best community to work for or to work with. And so if you look at those three things I just told you, SEAL, that spells seal. And we're coming back to seal that deal that we started in 17, but we got to seal it, Norman, together.
That together is a huge thing. That's what I was going to get at you, Les. How do you accomplish that now? Because there's a lot of fracturedness going on, and now you have to become the unifier again.
Well, listen, I was a Fulton County Commissioner for 14 years, and I've been president of the National Emergency. I know about bringing fractured people together.
Okay.
As long as they know their job and they're respectful, I can show them where it is a better part of us is to work together. You see, we got 7 districts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have 7 cities.
Okay.
I think we're a little bit off on that. I think some of us right now, we think we got 7 cities, and all of the 7 cities have district council people that act like mayors sometimes. We have to eliminate that. Let me just tell you how this thing works. This is a city with what we call a weak mayor form of government.
Correct. I was going to get to that.
Good. Yeah. And so what does that mean? The council, the city council are policymakers, which means they set the policy and the tone and the law. All right. They vote upon them. It's passed. Then they hand that off to what is called the city manager.
Mm-hmm.
The city manager runs the entire operation of the city. And then there's the mayor. The charter says that the mayor is the voice and the face of the city. One of the power he has is that he can veto. He does not get a vote. All right. You can say to yourself, somebody don't want to mess around with that. Well, but as in your position as mayor, you can be an influencer if you have the respectability of the people who's working with you. And so what happens is when elected officials start doing things other than what they're chartered to do, chaos sets in. Classic example. You can't be a city council person who is clothed with responsibility of doing policy, yet you want to step across the boundary and want to deal in operations. Mm-hmm. Can't do it. That has been happening. Can't do it. And so that causes a whole lot of problems, not only for you, but for the government itself.
Well, you bring up a point, and for those of you who don't know, the point that the mayor just made, when you go to training, that same point is made to you. Every elected official has to go to training, and that point is made to everyone who goes to that training, and that training is mandatory.
That's correct. That's correct. There's opportunities for you to gain knowledge if you want to gain knowledge. But you know, as I know, some people go to this training, man, you don't see them in classrooms. They're out there doing something other than what they need to be doing. You know, and that's not what the taxpayers have sent you there for. I never did that. You know, it's because I came there to get the knowledge, and the more knowledge I had about things, the better I felt about doing my job. And then, you know, we have to be, you know, listen, somebody told me one day, said, trust your friends, but tie your camel. you know, people got to be held accountable. That's really the job of the city manager. There's got to be processes in which we can see how people are doing on their jobs, see how they're handling the policies as prescribed in a proper manner. We had an issue with P cards that went all over the news.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I never had a county P card or a city P card on my possession. They were always in the possession of the goalkeeper named Dolores Basket. She always took care. And how I did things was, how we go out for training and stuff. She would get my hotel reservation. If in fact, which not much, if I needed a car, she would rent all of that. But when I went down to the function, I paid for my own food and things of that nature. When I got back, I would return those receipts to Dolores, and Dolores would turn those receipts in to finance, and it's just simple matter of fact for finance cutting me a check. All of this free going here and there and on county's money, and that is not right. So what is the solution? I don't think nobody needs one. Right. I think that you can do what I did. Just go out there and pay for what you want and get your money back. I mean, that's smooth as quick way for anything. It keeps us off of legality. It keeps us out of the news. And some people, some people you give them credit cards too that they never had a credit card in their life, really. And so that's where the abuse comes in, Norman. And we can no longer have those kinds of things. But once again, let me say this before I close on that. There's got to be a system by which, when things happen, when the trip started happening in city, going out of the country and stuff like that, I asked myself the question, who in finance was monitoring anything?
Right.
I mean, you got a finance director. If he comes up, if I took a trip to Istanbul or whatever, that should be a red flag. It should be a red flag rated, not after it was all over. So it brings me back to this whole thing about transparency. Everybody talks about transparency. Well, there is no transparency until something happens. Transparency should be up front. All right. Well, you can go back and look at things, and if you can look at things and see things, they will head off problems that you're headed for in the future. There was no transparency. The only thing transparency came in was when we did something. We did something wrong. So now we start pulling records and we start pulling people's verbal conversations and then, but that's after the fact.
Right.
So there is no transparency if it doesn't start on the front end.
Well, my old boss used to say a rotten fish smells from the top, from the head.
Well, your old boss.
Yeah. And that goes through. I mean, you obviously, when you were in, you had a great gatekeeper, and when you don't have a great gatekeeper, things tend to fall apart.
Yeah,
and that's the people's money.
Just follow the rules.
That's the people's money. Do you have a plan to bring smart development into South Fulton that will give residents options within the city to live, work, and play?
Well, if I didn't think about that end of things, I need not run. All right. Okay. But let me go back to the point of listening.
Okay.
See, Bill Edwards can't bring you all that because I don't know all you want. All right.
Okay.
If I listen to you, and we can sit down as a community, and I can get some idea of what you're talking about when we start talking about smart growth and things of that nature, because yours may be totally different from mine. All right.
Sure.
So how do we do that? When I get in, I want to have a couple of things. One, I want to have what is called listening sessions. That means I want to go out to the community. I want to sit down with them on none of this podium and all this kind of stuff. Just to sit down and talk. All right. And then that way I can kind of get a feel of what it is that they really want to see. Uh, and then I can confide with them why it can't be
Okay.
in some occasions. Now they got to work in knowledge of where I am, where the government is, and where the city is. So now let's work and see what we can do right now. I want to go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to the grocery stores. I don't want to. I'm not a sitting down mayor, and so by
Mm-hmm.
listening to them, I think we can pull this ship in the right direction. So, but to answer your question, yes, I think we should be doing live, work, and play is always a goal of everybody, but it can't be your goal. It's got to be ours
Mm-hmm.
as we move forward.
Now you have I think it says 12 parks in the city of South Fulton. Are those parks controlled by the city, or are they controlled by the county or state?
12,
And
12 parks is being nice.
okay,
We have 18 parks
okay,
now. With 18 parks, guess how many employees we have? Um,
okay.
50.
How many?
50. Now,
Wow.
don't take a genius to say divide 18 into 50.
Mm-mm.
But we have
Rather smart.
a great Parks and Rec staff who's led by a great young man. They're averaging 60, 70, 80 hours a week on,
Wow.
and they're
Wow.
imposed upon them that has nothing to do with Parks and Rec. See, when a person decides they want to have a turkey drive, which I ain't got nothing wrong with it. I mean, we just
Mm-hmm.
have many of them. It's Parks and Rec. They have to step in and lend support. Now, I don't know, but last time I read, I didn't think giving turkey was a part of Parks and Rec. So we have to identify people's responsibilities. 50 employees, my God, what they should have been doing is at least getting no less than 5 employees into the Parks and Recreation a year
True.
as we caught up. When I was in Fulton County, with our parks, we had people designated to a park. When you went to Welcome
Okay.
All Park, it was 5 folks. That's all they did was Welcome All Park. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing we have to look at, we're gonna have to start spend our money wisely in giving parks what they need to do recreation and programming. Uh, I think we need at this stage uh, astroturf fields in every one of our parks. We need to look like something.
Yep.
I think we need to offer not what I call non-conventional sports, which I think that we need to be training our kids for things like volleyball, things like lacrosse,
Mm-hmm.
which you don't have a lot of African American kids involved in. And if they do, they have to pay a whole lot of money to be on these clubs. But we can offer those things. Now, one thing good about our parks department, they have a workforce development program that they started on their own.
Oh my goodness.
And
No.
an award-winning program. Next year they're going to add next year coming they're going to add welding to their list of courses. I mean, fantastic.
Wow.
They probably graduate somewhere 200-300 kids, and they don't graduate just going through the motion. They help these kids, get jobs and use that technology that they've gotten to help them aid them in their futures. Great, great, great stuff going on. But I go back to this: 18 parks, 50 employees. So I go back to
Yeah.
sustainability. We talked about sustainability.
Yes.
How do you all the work they're done, and they're not getting any new employees this year in the new budget. All the work that they've done, how, Norman, can they sustain that? As good as the programs are, how can they logically and physically sustain what they're doing?
Well, I hear it about when you're talking about the budget, and someone had bragged about an increase in the city budget from 116 million to something like 430 million. So if that's true, none of that went towards staff development, staff salary. That seems to be an awful huge increase, and to have that few employees in that department doesn't make a lot of
So
sense.
that's common sense. And if you got that
Right.
much money, you got a parks department who's being outstanding, who are just carrying the load for it. And don't even talk about how the money we're spending in overtime. That's another subject. All right, and all. So we got parks doing a great job. You look at the budget, parks ain't getting enough. They're not getting one more person. A fool and its money will soon part. And so you have to be, once again, let's go back to listening.
Mm-hmm.
You got that kind of money, you get with your people, get with your constituency, say, look, we got this money. Here's what we want to do with it. It's a lot of wasted money being spent. I'll give you a classic example. You know, we're having a problem with our police department. And we have put our police chief on a legal absence while we look at, you know, what the deal is and what we're going to do next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, while we look at it, don't tell me how long it's going to be, does it? But I know that I got an employee out there making $18,000 a month on a legal absence. All right, make a decision, man. Is he gonna be here or you ain't gonna be here? I don't have nothing against Chief Edwards. Make a decision. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of. And here's the other thing. We have paid for 2 surveys in the police department. One was done by the federal government. One was done by Smyrna Police Department when we had an issue before. All right. So they brought back over 100 recommendations as to what we needed to do, right? Mm-hmm. None of those recommendations were ever accepted. And some of the council people are saying that I never saw the work that was done by the federal government. You never saw the report. Hell, I got it. All right. And so that leads me to believe some other things I don't want to believe. Now, are they finished? No. So we hire a guy to come in here to investigate the police department. All right. That's probably another $20,000 a month. All right. Not counting the deputy chief and others who are getting salary on a high level. We're probably spending $50-some thousand a month trying to get the police back right. But yet still we spend millions of dollars to build a police precinct, all right, or police office, when our police department is in turmoil. Sometimes you got to say, wait a minute. We got 40 million. How much of this money is going to go and people are going to do what Parks is doing? How many people are going to develop the kind of workforce programs for kids? You know, we don't have a facility. We don't have a youth facility in our city at all. Here's the other thing: 118,000 people. We don't have a senior facility, and it's not our responsibility to build one. The responsibility to build the senior facility is on the county. But the county ain't gonna do no more than they have to if you don't say nothing about it.
True.
And we need a full service senior facility with 108. You know, Fairburn got one. Union City got one. Everybody's got a senior facility except the biggest city, the second largest city in Fulton County. So maybe some of that money and other things need to be need to be spread the way people want it. Maybe some of that money needs to be put into service delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of the little aesthetic things that we do that render us as the greatest thing since sliced bread. So once again, we got to listen.
And part of one of the things I told a group of kids here because they were complaining in my city about inclusivity and I said, the biggest part of inclusivity is participation. And
Right.
if you elect not to participate in your government, when you have these, you're want to establish listening sessions. But if you only get 2 or 3 people coming to that listening session, nothing really gets done to benefit the community because you don't have that community input. And that's what I think that people don't realize. And my hope is that with the trust and the accountability that you instill and the outlining the precepts of the SEAL project, that people will listen, that people will participate, and
Yeah.
realize that uh, non-participation or taking your government for granted uh, is going to lead you back to a very, very bad place.
Well, it's absolutely correct. And don't get me wrong, it ain't the government's fault all the time.
Oh no,
Yeah, it's the
not
fault.
saying that.
It's the fault that you didn't come out and you didn't participate. All right. We got 118,000 people in our city, but one of the lowest voter rates around. All right.
I think you're around 30%, something like that,
Like
if I
30%
remember correctly.
in there. You know,
Okay.
it's 118,000 people, man. It's probably that's what they counted. It's probably more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't seem. Everybody wants to. The only way that you're going to make things right is that you're going to be either you're going to be a part of the process or you're going to be a part of the problem. you know.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I look at people running for office. They say, "Well, when I get in, I'm going to do the work." Where were you before? yeah.
And it's people who are not in government don't realize it's never one person can get it done.
Yeah. And these other
It,
people,
it
even the ones that was in government, they come out and say, "Well, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get that done." You've been there 8 years.
right.
They'll tell you, "Well, I'm ready day one." Well, when is day one? I don't know when
Yep.
day is. I mean, you've been there that long. And so I consider myself, as I look down the line of the 9 people that's running in this race, I consider myself more knowledgeable and more equipped to handle the job of bringing this city back to its prosperity.
I was going to ask you for some closing remarks, and that's just the beginning. If you have any more, uh, you please offer them to us. Uh,
South Fulton can be exactly what we want to be. We're not dead. We're not ruined. But I'll tell you, I say it again, the seeds you plant is the harvest you get. So we need to make sure that we got the good seed, that when those seeds begin to blossom and harvest, that we're in a position where we can sustain anything. Uh, I have been in local government. I have even been the president of the Old National Merchants Association.
yeah.
So I've seen issues on both sides of the table. I'm ready right now to do the job. I don't need the title. I'm here to do the job because I love the city. I love its potential. And with Bill Edwards, we can go to that next ladder and we can become one of the great cities that we were destined to be in 2017.
Wow. Well, Mr. Mayor, it was honorable having you here on Issues and Answers. I am just so proud of the work that I know that you have done. And I certainly hope that you have an opportunity to do it all over again in the city of South Fulton.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, WCEG for CG for having us the programming. They got some wonderful people We have some wonderful shows, and they've come a long ways. And I hope a lot of people are listening in when they do come on the air. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's been great having you. Thank you so much. It was really an honor speaking with you today.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, it's time for my weekly or bi-weekly rant. And so here I go. But first, let me say sincerely, he's gone now, but it was an honor for me to have an opportunity to interview the Honorable Mayor, William Bill Edwards. As you can look at his resume online, I'm telling you, this man is he's a trailblazer and a proven leader, and all of us should aspire to greatness such as he. But here we go. America, we are in trouble. This is not a political statement, it's a reality statement. This country is making more out of the assassination of activist and hate monger Charlie Kirk than it ever did over the assassinations of Medgar Evers, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, and Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband. Stephen Colbert, whose biting humor regularly targeted President Trump, has been told the contract for his popular show will not be renewed. Beyond the politically correct stuff, it's being canceled because the president is thin skinned and has intimidated the owners of CBS into doing his bidding. Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about MAGA, not Charlie Kirk, but his program was pulled off the air by ABC after the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, made the following threat. Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. This mafia type threat is more typical of a dictatorship than it is of a country that boasts a free and unencumbered press. Not since the persecution of comedian Lenny Bruce has this type of draconian behavior become a staple of a United States government. Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Let me talk about Pete Hegseth, the self-proclaimed or president proclaimed as the Secretary of War, when it's really still the Secretary of Defense. It takes an act of Congress to change the name. But just as Trump has unofficially changed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, he has similarly changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. There's a reason. There is a reason for the obsession with war that I will break down shortly. But first, let's talk about Pete Hegseth, former Fox and Friends show host. Now, Pete Hegseth served in the United States Army National Guard from 2003 to 2016. He achieved the rank of captain, and he completed deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. Honorable, honorable. But for you who are non-military people, and there only 1% of this country ever serves in the military, only 1%, horrendous. But anyway, I'll move on. For you who are non-military people, the rank of captain is considered a company grade position. There are three grades of commissioned officers in the Army. They are company grade, field grade, and general grade commissions. Each grade requires additional training and experience. Pete Hegseth had the lowest amount of experience and training as a commissioned officer. Yet this man chastised and threatened general grade officers in a manner which not even any former president has done. Dangerously, the incompetent president ordered these important strategic leaders to leave their assignments to come to Washington, D.C. for a verbal beatdown. Suppose our troops came under attack. Where would the leaders be? This occurred at the beginning of a government shutdown that limited air travel. Were these admirals, generals, and colonels being flown by military aircraft back to their strategic assignments? This was dumb. This was stupid. This was egotistical gratification by insecure men at the expense of some of the best in this country that this country has to offer. If no other action has done it, this has made us the laughing stock of the world. The get on board or get out speech these jackasses made has to have had a deleterious effect on American troop morale. Add to that, our military is being directed to become law enforcement officers. They were never trained for that. Think about the National Guard detailed to Washington, D.C., relegated to picking up trash and hunting for illegal immigrants. This will get worse. This will get worse. Let's talk about war. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, has recently become fascinated with the words war and invasion. Where did this come from? You need to watch these press conferences. On August 18th, 2025, during his second visit to the White House with President Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sat down with the president for a press conference. Ukraine has been invaded by and is at war with Russia for the past 3 years. Trump, who has not liked Zelensky since Zelensky refused to lie for him several years ago, asked him, when will you have, actually not Trump, but one of Trump's lackeys in the press asked Zelensky, when will you have the next presidential election? Zelensky, and I'm condensing the words, stated that since his country is at war, he has suspended all elections. Trump responded, you mean 3.5 years from now, if we are in a war, no elections? I have to think about that, as he smiled. Now, Trump has said something similar during his campaign. In July of 2024, Trump said, quote, get out and vote this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore. My beautiful Christians. End quote. Trump is bombing Venezuelan boats due to unproven accusations that they are bringing drugs to the United States. Quote, they are invading our country and killing our people, end quote. Last week, he said, we are suffering from an invasion from within. That is an oxymoronic statement from the mouth of an unhinged mind. This is his justification for sending troops to cities with Democratic leaders. His supporters have forgotten about the Kent State University massacre that occurred on May 4th, 1970, when National Guard troops killed 4 unarmed protesters. Trump's purpose is to suspend the next presidential election. He will use our military to accomplish that. Many of you, quote, beautiful Christians, end quote, also known as evangelicals, are too dumb to realize that this man has an insatiable need for power. No matter who gets crushed, no matter who suffers, it's all about him and his messianic obsession. Now, to all of you misogynists who refuse to vote for Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris, not because of their qualifications, but because of their sex, how do you feel now? We are in a critical time in American history. People are about to lose their medical care in the richest country in the world. People will die. But as the Republican senator said a few months ago, everybody dies. That is the callousness of this administration. You have a wrestling enterprise owner heading our Department of Education. You have a drunk heading our Department of Defense. You have a 14-year heroin addict leading our Department of Health and Human Services. You have a 21-year-old computer nerd heading a critical area of the Department of Homeland Security. You can't make this up, folks. This is real. Elections have consequences. Apathy, irresponsibility, and ignorance have wrought this plague on America. It will take a long time to undo. Quod erat demonstrata. Thank you for joining us on this installment of Issues and Answers. It's been my pleasure to have our guest, the Honorable Mayor William Bill Edwards. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. I believe that'll be October 27th, when we will have another exciting and informative show for you right here on the WCEG Digital Media Enterprises Issues and Answers with Norman A. Carter Jr. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you soon.